Agenda. The Town Mayor's report. Have you all had a chance to read that? No, you haven't, because you haven't been able to pick the papers up until you came in tonight. So would you like me to read those back out? So you can all... I've got a councillor down here saying no. It's all self-explanatory, really. It's a report. Are there any questions on that report, please? No? Well, we move on then. And we'll go back to number 2 on the agenda, the minutes of the annual parish meeting held on the 25th of April 2018. You've all had a chance now surely to read those minutes. Could I have a proposer and a seconder to approve them? Councillor...
Yes, please.
Yeah. And Councillor Helen Squires. All those in favour of that? Right. Yes. Yep. 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 Right. Yes. Right. Now we go back on to normal now. Number 5 on the agenda. Committee Chairman's report. Meeting to receive a report from the following Parish Town Council Committee Chairman. Now those are all in that pack which you haven't got. Its first one on is the Chairman of Finance and General Purposes Committee, Councillor Shackleton.
Page 15.
Page 15.
While they are reading through it, I'd just like to say that I think the Finance Committee is quite pleased that the huge overspend that we anticipated earlier on in the year has not happened. This is due to various things, which is in my respect. It's in there.
Oh, is it?
There's various...
Page 15.
Oh, yeah, I know that. But I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, right.
I'm really sorry now.
You're very quiet, you know. It looks to me.
Are there any questions for Councillor Shackleton on that Finance and General Purposes Committee? No, we'll move on to the next one then on the agenda is Chairman of Planning Committee, Councillor Kevin Wilkie. Unfortunately, Councillor Wilkie isn't here tonight, he's away on holiday. The next one, the Vice Chair, also is missing. So it's usually me that gets voted in to chair the meetings when they aren't here, so if you've any questions on that planning, if I could answer them, I certainly will do.
Do you think that I'm planning that planning is quicker than it used to be?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because it used to be very long drawn out thing.
Yes, yes. Depending on what type of planning applications come in.
Right.
Council Road.
Yes.
So it all depends on those and what we have to look into.
Yeah, I will try to speed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. We're averaging about an hour and a half now? Yeah.
I don't think you'll do the meeting.
Yeah, the meeting averages an hour and a half.
About 6 weeks between the arrival of the planning and request for a return.
Yeah.
We have a planning meeting on Monday actually, if anybody's interested. Councillor Paxton.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there are lots of opposition to the retirement home development on Churchfoot Drive,
Yes.
which the Borough Council saw fit to pass. And I noticed that 300,000 Section 106 money was to be paid into the borough's coffers and not ring-fenced for firing, which upset me somewhat. But I notice now there is a further planning application going in for more retirement homes at the top of Scarborough Road, opposite the proposed flood defence pond,
Right.
which is the old Filey Fields Farm, which I can't remember now, is it 40 or another 70. Now the town can't sustain this amount of retirement homes. We've got a 6-week waiting list max at the doctors.
Yeah.
We've got problems getting national health dentists, etc., etc. Social services are absolutely jam full. You know, why do the borough keep passing these retirement villages? We can't, having a retirement population of 38%, I think, at the last count,
Yes.
which is way, way, way above the national average. Surely we can't keep going on like this. We're forcing our young people out of the town, they can't afford to live here, jobs are going, and it's becoming a retirement village. And you know, I think we ought to be doing something serious about saying to the borough, look, enough's enough. They're quite happy, they're getting another 70 odd council tax payments every year, it doesn't matter to them, does it? But it matters to the town, and it's altering the whole demographics of the area to an unsustainable level.
Right. Right. We'll take note of those comments when that actually planning comes in. I don't know whether it's coming or not. Has it? It's coming, so it'll be Monday night. Yes, sir. Can you say your name?
Yeah, my name is John. I'd like to just follow on from what Councillor Haxley has said, especially in reference to Section 106 monies and what's happened in the past. One prime example is Mill Meadows and the amount of monies that Council were promised in the original agreement for that site of 325,000.
Yeah.
And the way that the system works now is that the developer can come back to planning services and the Borough Council with information saying that it's now not going to be viable and they can renegotiate on Section 106 money, which they did with Mill Meadows and reduced it to 90,000. Now, we know, as you know as well, that some people in the ones, the monies that have been taken from Mill Meadows was £9,000 Farley got that was paid to North Yorkshire County Council, which is currently unspent. That was the only monies that was paid in Section 106 monies for the benefit of the community. These people sell these developments to the community because they're going to get Section 106 monies to put money into whatever it be, sports facilities, any benefit for the people of the community and the residents, which is really, really good. Unfortunately, it's not happening. I did bring this up in a meeting earlier on in the year, and Councillor Seckleton said that they would put it into review and watch that more and be more diligent on it, which I think is a very, very good thing, because I don't think it's happened in the past and it needs to happen. I also think as well that the way that was handled by the developer, they built all the social housing houses and took £2.5 million from central government to build those houses, and then all of a sudden when that money, those houses were being built, they all of a sudden run into financial difficulties and crashed. So there's no chance of getting any of the Section 106 numbers at all now on that. And I think council needs to be just monitoring and be more diligent on that kind of thing if they can in the future, because the community is losing out in that respect.
Right, yeah, right, thank you very much for that. That will be put forward to a full council meeting later on in the year. Okay, that one's definitely. I'll ask the council to put it on. Okay, yes, please.
My name's Carol Milner. I'd just like to ask if, along with the retirement homes, that there's any plan to improve transport, because the town is already, especially the older population who can't walk as far, that's a distance into the centre of town. The town is already overfull. It's very difficult to manoeuvre around the centre of town during the day. So I'm just wondering if, along with these retirement homes that they're planning along Scarborough Road and the Churchcliff Drive, there's going to be improved transport facilities to help relieve the roads, both sides of the roads are full of cars, is what I'm saying. So how are those people going to get in and out of the centre of town to do their shopping?
Yes, once again, I'll ask the clerk to put that on to a future meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I say something like that?
Yes.
Well, we do have the community bus,
Yes, we do.
which used to have funding from Scarborough Borough Council and North Yorkshire County Council and Parish Council. And the only people that fund it at the moment is Parish Council. And the Parish Bay Initiative fund it as well. And we're doing, along with the people, going to do private funding.
Yep.
Now, there isn't enough money to do for that, and that was deemed as a free bus, but a lot of people do give a donation to it, which helps tremendously. And we do hope that that will keep on. I can't see any other type of transport within Thailand being put forward, because all we've had in the last few years from the county is less and less and less of funding towards public transport. And the buses have altered quite a lot by the time people use them. But that little bus ought to be congratulated from this meeting on how he does do an absolutely marvellous job for the town. The only thing he doesn't do now, since withdrawing a lot of the money, is the weekends.
Yes.
He doesn't do weekends, which is a shame to get down to the people. So, I hope that answers the lady's query.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor.
Can I just
Right, yes.
comment on the back of what you said earlier? I was doing a bit of reading last night, and just if you're planning on putting in an objection, official objection, there's 3 things that have to be met for all people's development. One of them being it has to be located close to central services facilities. Neither of those sites are close to a shop, all the doctors, all the train stations, or anything like that. And the third point on it was be located with good access to well-served public transport routes. Well, we all know what we get, 1 bus an hour in Thailand, 1 train an hour. So again, I think that would be another valid argument if you're going to write in and object to it. So,
Just in terms of planning, the assistant clerk and myself went on a planning seminar about 6 weeks ago, and just a sort of a recommendation if anybody's going to put in an objection, that you must have a material concern. There must be, not having services, unfortunately, isn't a material concern. And I'm not sort of being awkward over here, it's just, this is the way it is. The seminar was started by the consultant, and he basically said there are three reasons, or there are three major points that the government take into consideration when any new development is taking place. One is development. Two is development. Three is development. It is taken that any development is good, and you have to have some significant reasons why not. And I take the consideration of transport, but on the other side of it, having lived in a very, very, very rural area, the transport here is very good. Although it's not wonderful, I've also lived in a metropolitan area where the transport is extremely good, where there's a bus every 10 minutes, etc. But it's not as bad as you may make it out to be. So just be prepared for may not be material concerns.
Just to say, that I quoted was from SBC's own development plan.
Yes.
That's from their website.
But it's
So
all
they specified it.
relative.
So it's all relative. And also as well, I had a look at valid objections. So I understand that just local feeling, that we don't want it for whatever reason, and I've written down all the different things. And again, either site, in my opinion, you could take 5, 6, in fact I've written about 10 things that you could actually object to it for, because like I said, it's not just I don't want it, you have to give valid reasons. Material planning considerations are known as, visual amenity, highway safety, which is what this lady's just mentioned, nature conservation.
Comes from North Yorkshire.
Yeah, but again though, it's a valid objection to a planning development. Road access, layout and density of buildings, design and appearance, loss of trees, hazardous material, etc., etc., traffic generation. And again, it will exacerbate the traffic in the town, which is already, we saw it Easter weekend, it's good for the town in one way, but the traffic, people will be moaning about not having anywhere to park, etc. It's 70 more houses on that site, and what was the figure on the other one? Check. Yeah, 70 units on this here one. So,
Right, thank you.
As well.
Right, thank you very much for that. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to come in on that one again, just make you aware that I was one of the residents that's been really involved.
Can you speak up?
Yeah, I was one of the residents that have been really involved with the objections to HA24, which is McCarthy and Stone site, over the last 4 years. I've learned an awful lot about planning services and how they work. You have to hit them with breaches of policies in the national planning frameworks and national guidance which are on the government website, which we did with our objections and put a very strong case together. I'm afraid what you'll find with Scarborough Council Planning Services is they work on semantics and will change, and their interpretation of wording can be completely different how you may read that policy. And they're very, very clever at that. And I will also say that there was 2 areas on that site which were in the allocation site assessment paper. Councillor Cockle knows this very well because he was beginning to do, and I will say that he spoke up against this for us at Scarborough Council at that planning meeting on the 4th of October. And there was 2 sections of that we didn't agree with. One of them building a block 2 stories high, and when they promised us, when we went to the examination in public, and the government inspector was there, that they would build bungalows on that site, and that there would be no more than 30 dwellings. They passed the plan of 59 dwellings, so almost 100% over what should be built on that site. So they don't take any notice of these assessment papers, but they technically should and legally follow and have an obligation to follow, but we find it very, very hard.
So how did they manage to get that through then? So what had been discussed in the meeting, etc., was 30. How on earth did they manage to get 59?
It's all to do, to cut a long story short, it's all to do with getting numbers of units in to make profits.
Yeah.
It's not like discounted viability. If they don't get the numbers in to sell it to their customer base, they won't make profit. It's all about profit and viability. It's as simple as that on that side.
Right, so come back to Cathy and Stone, and then the council will pass it to get more revenue.
Yeah, and you've got to think the council then can get council tax and 59 residences.
Yeah.
So it's all,
Yeah.
it's all over.
Yeah.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor Haxby.
As Mr. Book brought up Mill Meadows, prior to that development, there were great concerns about the amount of surface water that would be discharged down Martin's Ravine.
Yeah.
We were promised, and we had a public meeting in this chamber attended by lots of people, and we were promised that they were going to have a grey water recycling scheme, they were going to have a surface water pond which fed every house with grey water. None of that ever came about when they got planning permission. All that went out the window.
Yeah.
And where was Scarborough Borough Council enforcing all those conditions? They didn't even bother. So they don't have any grey water recycling, they don't have any top water recycling, everything goes down Martin's Ravine. That's how much we've taken.
Right,
Thank you.
right, thank you for that, Councillor Haxby. Yes,
Can I just come back in on that one as well? That's another thing I'd like to make you aware of, is once planning service, the planning committee, development committee of Scarborough passed the plans and approved the plans, plans can be passed with conditions. So with McCarthy and Stoneside, there's 14 conditions on that side. They then have to tick off before they can come in and start to put footings in and develop. So what we find is once the approval has been given in theory to build, they then, what we find, the developer then starts to come in discharging those conditions. And you'll find that then there's different workflows. What they have to do is then meet the criteria that's been set on that when it was approved. So that's another area that you have to watch, even though it's been passed, it's still not finished, because they have to tick all them boxes and everything has to be right. And with that side, flooding is the issue, and the funding and everything is still issues on that. With water not entering Yorkshire water drainage. So there's questions at the minute with the drawings that the engineers have done that the overtopping, that the building that we're going to put over the top, when it overtops, shouldn't flow towards Church Street Drive, but in the conditions of written, it states the water does flow to Church Street Drive, and it should go the opposite way to Andale Ravine. So we're questioning that as well. Because the last thing what people want, especially where
Churchfield
Yeah,
Farm
yeah.
has been flooded, 100-year flood has happened twice in the last 5 years.
2002 2007.
10 years.
So the residents on Churchfield Farm are very vulnerable, and we're just trying to protect those residents the best we possibly can. But there is questions raised over that as well. So you've got to watch out for stuff like that. But thanks, Joe.
right, thank you for that. Councillor Putnam.
Perhaps now you'll understand why we are banging our heads against a brick wall and we get very, very frustrated about it. Our hands are literally quite often tied. And whatever we say, whatever objections we bring up are overridden.
Well, I worked there for 14 years and it's the same as being, just a back, dog's body in the back office. Stating the obvious.
I hope you all understand our frustrations now that, whatever we say and whatever we try to do, we don't always succeed and we can't always succeed.
Inherently wrong, isn't it? I can
It
see
is.
it. Yeah.
So you need to understand why we get discouraged.
Yeah, definitely.
And we are just an advisory council committee on planning to Scarborough.
Yeah.
Now, whether they want to take notice or not is entirely up to them. We can't do a thing about it. Okay.
No, but you guys
I mean-
did, with the Queen Street Garden.
But we know,
So so if we can get the same kind of, the community behind us in that as well, and, 700 people or whatever object to it, then hopefully you think somebody would listen.
it's all on the planning committee at Scarborough Borough Council. And to be honest, I've been there, I've spoken for 3 minutes, and that's all we are allowed to speak is 3 minutes. If you go over, you're cut off. Simple as that.
Is the planning committee made up of councillors and then borough officers?
Here,
No,
at Scarborough.
SBC, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, right.
Yeah. The committee is, yeah.
Right.
But sometimes the planning goes through on the decision of an officer,
Right.
right? That's the supposed to be the small planning issues, right?
Yeah.
Councillor Haxley.
Yeah, I think the latest typical agreement by Scarborough Borough Council is to the Bay, where they've been now allowed to expand into a wildlife area, providing they make another one at Flixton. So finally loses out on acres of wildlife area, and Flixton gets a field full of grass. You know, this is the thinking of Scarborough Borough Council. They just don't give a monkeys, to be fair.
Surely the amount of lack of doctors and appointments surely should be a major.
Exactly. The doctor's appointments. You to wait a fortnight, maybe 3 weeks now for a doctor's appointment.
know when you're going to be
unless
in
it's a
advance.
real emergency. No. They
The
don't take that
elderly
into
need more
consideration.
doctor's appointments than, say, me, for instance. I go to the doctor 3 times a year. Over 60 may go 3 times a month.
Yeah.
Surely that needs
Yeah.
addressing.
Well, this is it. Yeah.
We can only point that out, Chair, can't we?
Exactly. We can point that out, and we do. We really do. If you get a big planning application come in, we really point things out like that. We really do. And our clerk, not this one, the deputy at the end there, she clerks our planning meetings, and she puts down what we ask her to put down, and then she emails that to Scarborough Borough Council. That's how it works.
Just back to the Scarborough development again. Flood alleviation scheme that we're all aware is now basically stalled because the planning permission on it is expired.
Yeah.
Planning permission is expired. So that I know full well, and it's even in this brochure about the football pitch on there being absolutely sodden, that they couldn't even play football on that for 4 months this year. Every single match that my son was going to play was cancelled due to flooding. This is right next door. Even just driving along, you can see it in marshland. So how on earth can anybody think that it's appropriate to build on what is effectively a swamp? And even more so now that there's not going to be any flood defences in place. Is that not taken into consideration? Was that not factored in when this planning application was made, for example? That the flood alleviation scheme should have been up and running and this, that and the other?
We try to think of everything we possibly can to put in to reply to the application to Scarborough Borough Council. And I've learned from a lot of years on planning that if you look up planning in the planning portal on the government site, and you look down the list, you've got a big list there, and it's got little numbers on, like 23B, 23A, and quoted. Still don't take no notice. I'm not joking.
How can we change that?
Pardon?
How can
We
we
don't
change
know.
that?
We don't know. As I said before, we are only actually advising.
Yeah.
That's all we can do, and that's same with every parish council. They can only advise. Now, by the government say that the planning authority should listen to the actual parish councils, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, but very rarely they do.
We have stated in the past, Chair, that we don't wish to see any large developments happening until the flood alleviation scheme is up and running.
Exactly. Councillor Murray. Mr. Murray, and then you're there.
So the member of public, what was your question?
Terry.
So just going back to the question that Terry asked about doctors and GPs, because you were asking about getting monies for that comes under section 106 agreements. So that is agreed with the developer at the time when the plans go in, and what the developer will pay to the community in section 106 agreements. Just an example, going back to Mill Meadows, I think the agreement for Mill Meadows at that time was, I think it was £55,000 to come to our doctors.
Yeah.
Is it the school? Right. Okay, so we've got nothing yet. Yes.
No, it isn't for wages, it was to expand, it was actually to expand the facilities.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with wages for doctors or anything like that, it was to help to expand the facilities. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes.
At what point does, if the borough council gives the planning permission, are they then responsible for what happens afterwards? So, for example, for the McCarthy Stone development, if that then causes the flooding of the houses at Churchcliff Farm, and they haven't put in the flood defences or the systems, are they then responsible for what happens legally?
Legally, I wouldn't like to...
Two words, sorry to interrupt you, Bland and Cliff. Do you know about Bland and Cliff with the nutrient development? As soon as it started drilling, cracks started appearing in facilities on Bland and Cliff that weren't there before. And the council, they haven't accepted any responsibility for that whatsoever. At the moment, I mean, I left back in February, so I don't know the current position on it, but still well.
Right, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Moulton then.
Yeah, going back to that question about liability to the developer on Churchcliff Farm, McCarthy and Stone, when I went to the meeting at the Avon Centre with the developer's agent was there, and I asked that specific question. I said, if this stormwater attenuation system was to fail, can we sue you if they all get flooded in Churchcliff Farm? But he went a little bit quiet for a while, and then he just went, yes, if you can prove that they've been negligent.
But can you also sue the borough council for giving planning permission and letting that happen because they're being negligent and not looking after the communities? Because it sounds, and I don't know fully, but it sounds like there's a lot of things that the parish council are putting in concerns and they're being ignored. So at what point does the borough council, because they've got those in record presumably, if they haven't listened to what's being said, at what point are they responsible for ignoring backed up warnings?
Yeah. Now, I'm on the exec board of the YLCA, that's the Yorkshire Local Councils Association, and this problem comes in every quarter, because we only held our meetings every quarter. So this comes in every quarter, and not just at this side, it's the whole of Yorkshire, right? And it comes in from all ends. There's this question. Now this has been sent on to the National, that's NALC, right? And they go into Parliament and they can actually get hold of one or two of the MPs there and try to talk them into doing something about it. And when I say try, I mean they do try. Okay. Now they're acting for the public on that. Right?
Yeah.
But after saying that, it is the council that is responsible for the planning that is actually, it's them that passes the plans, not the parish councils. Okay. Sometimes I wish we had that, but unfortunately we don't. As Councillor Bosom has said before, our hands are tied, and it is like banging your head against a brick wall, and you feel like chucking it all in and saying, no, we've had enough. But once you do that, you have to keep nibbling and nibbling and nibbling at them all the time to get anything. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, right, thanks very much. Councillor Anthony.
Just a clarification on 106, Molly. I've heard Councillor Cottrell say that no money came for the CCG because they didn't apply for it from the South and Stone. That's what you've said. in the past, right?
Sorry, say that.
Well, when we said about there's no money for the surgeries, you said that the CCG did apply for 106 money for the council.
Councillor
So-
Anthony, can I just remind you that we are all in further and it's some questions they cannot answer. Okay, I'll just remind you.
Just a clarification around.
Yes, but I'll just have to remind you on that before you go any further.
If I can answer that the way I understand it.
Right, that's up to Councillor Cockrell.
The surgery didn't ask for any money.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I wanted
That is my
clarification on.
understanding.
So we're saying there's no money available for surgeries, but the surgeries do actually need to apply for the 106 money, otherwise it's not forthcoming. That was just wanted to clarify that.
Right, thank you for that.
Yes.
Where does it go to if it's not applied for?
It goes into the,
Oh, the copper.
it goes into the coppers account. Yes, Councillor Haxley first and then I'll bring Councillor Cockrell in.
I was going to wind it to say that the only way we'll ever get anywhere is for you to lobby your local MP to get planning permissions devolved down to parish and town council. You will never get anything out of the borough because they're making money out of everything they pass. So they've got fiscal interest in everything.
Okay. Right. I know you two are learning, I know you are. And good. We appreciate that. Councillor Cockrell.
Just to point out on the section 106, if at a planning stage, section 106 money is allocated to anything, there is usually a time limit on it, and if that is not taken up, it goes back to the developer.
Right.
This is a really obvious point. To the surgery, for example, do they know they have to apply for that money? Surely it should just be given to them. That's what it's there for. They're informed.
No, are they?
Yeah, are they informed? Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Okay. Right, we're going to move on from planning now. We have asked quite a lot of questions out there, and you've had quite a lot of answers, so we move on now to the Chair of Property Committee, Councillor Anthony. Hello? I'll go back to that. You go first.
Nothing to add other than what's written here, but if anybody would like to ask questions, it's fine.
Page 19. Page 19. Are there any questions for Councillor Anthony? No, we'll move on then. Chairman of Strategic Planning Committee, that's myself. It's on page 14, by the way, in that report. You're going back. Yeah. Trying to save paper.
Sorry, Chair. On the property committee, Queen Street Gardens is
Pardon?
mentioned. Queen Street Gardens is mentioned in the property. So do any of these?
On the property, that's on the property committee.
But it's not up to
We'll
date.
just move forward onto strategic planning now.
We didn't have time to read it.
I was asking if people wanted to ask any questions about that. So
Yeah, I'm fine.
will they be allowed want to do that?
Yes, do you?
It's just that obviously it says in the report that you voted to sell Main Street Garden, but it's changed since,
Yeah,
it's not specified in the
One of the
report.
two, please, I can't get it mixed up again. I'll take it from you, love.
I said that in the report it says that the council recently voted to sell Main Street Gardens and follow advice by health and safety to fence it off, and about recently voting to put them up for sale, but that's changed.
When I wrote the report, through you, Chair,
Yes.
when I wrote the report, it was a few weeks ago, it was before it came out. But presumably the whole thing will go back to the traffic committee.
It will. It will. And that'll be to the new property committee, because as you all know, we have an election coming up. And I think there's only the planning committee left to have a meeting, I think, is that right? Yeah. So once the planning committee has had a meeting on Monday, there'll be no further meetings until after the actual election. And then that won't be until after the 15th, because the simple reason is because that is when the councillors that's actually been elected on actually put forward if they want to be on different committees and all that. And after that, that is when the clerk will fetch the first new committee meetings forward. After that, the dates and all that will be coming out then. Okay? Does that explain everything to you a bit? Okay, right, thank you. We'll go back to the strategic planning committee. Have you all you'll have all had a chance to read that now? Yeah? Do you, any questions on that? No? No?
Sorry. What page were we on there?
14. I said, when I read it out before, it says in page 14.
I know, but I was reading the other bit. I was catching up.
We did it there, one of those.
IT. Right, just a question about IT,
IT.
David.
Yes.
I went to speed with that now. Is everything okay with the website and everything?
No. Everything is up to date on the website, but our planned strategy is to have a new website in the very near future. And we have a couple of options that are available, and again is planned to put those at the first convenient meeting. If anybody's interested, in particular one that has been advised to us by YLCA as a recommended website is the same structure as the website for Whitby and Helmsley. So if anyone's interested, if you go and have a look at that structure, that is the structure that we are looking potentially to adopt.
I only mentioned that.
Very easy to follow.
Still struggling to get agendas and what's going to be in the meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
And you have to come and attend the meetings to find out what you're going to be talking about. So still an issue.
And we appreciate you coming to the committee meetings as well. Don't forget, any member of the public can actually come to the committee meetings. Okay? Right, we'll go on now. We'll go on to Chairman of Staffing Committee, Councillor Rosenworth.
Page 21 in your pack is my report. Take any questions, but before you have any questions, I would just like to say how well our new assistant clerk has settled into her role. She's the most welcome addition to our staff. Difficult because obviously we've got a new clerk, a new assistant, and I think we're all finding our feet a little bit, and we're taking this as an opportunity to learn from each other and full knowledge, so it's working out very well, I think.
I'll just back you up on that because I have a lot to do with them both. coming in 2 or 3 times a week.
You can see by the dates on that report, we are expected to have our reports written by the middle of March. So I think that always as current as people might be, but up to March to put it.
Starting to put all this together. So is there any questions for the staffing?
Thank you very much.
No? Right, thank you very much. We'll move on then now to Chairman of Events and Lighting Committee, Councillor Wright.
Page 22.
Page 22.
Quite short report, to the point. Is there any questions anybody wants to ask about Christmas lights or hunting or talk to them? You'd like to ask a question?
I'd just like to give you some information.
Oh,
Councillor Wright.
absolutely.
The bunting is being delivered tomorrow and they're collecting it so to be installed on Monday.
Excellent. We're not going to by next week.
So if there's anybody in here, please, wants to ask Councillor Wright, I know she'll be quite happy to answer your
I will.
questions. Please do. Anything that you've seen on lighting or hunting in the borough. Councillor Anthony.
Could I ask Councillor Wright to explain why the whole of the town isn't covered in Christmas lights and hunting, just for the benefit of the public? Right. A lot of the streets that people want Christmas lights in, such as the far end of Bellevue Street, near West Avenue, the buildings aren't high enough. We have to have a certain height for safety, and the buildings aren't high enough for that. We did look at putting Christmas trees on the buildings and doing it that way, and for all the infrastructure and everything, it was going to cost about £17,500. So if for the few houses that it was, properties, it was a bit over the top really. Christmas lights cost a lot of money, an awful lot of money, and we do get a lot from Scarborough Borough Council. They do the big Christmas tree at the Tesco's bit there. We do, Parish Council does the roundabouts, which we did have a problem with this year, but that got resolved within a few days, didn't it?
We did.
And we got our money back from the original lights that weren't up to our standards, so we did all right there. And we are given £8,000 from Scarborough Borough to go towards the lights, which we don't actually own these lights that go up every year, we rent them. And then, because we don't have storage, we don't have facilities for putting them up and down, and also the health and safety part of that. We used to do our own trees and get a local person to do them, but as health and safety's gone on in time, it's not worth it, because if we fell down, you'd get sued and all the rest of it, and we do it properly. So it is a lot of people putting things together, and we do ask for grants from other places. We are putting in, hopefully, an application to Tesco's, so we can get some money from there.
because every few £1,000s, it sounds awful, doesn't it? Makes a big difference to the town. But it has been something that I've taken right from the beginning, and been my baby, so to speak, because I love the Christmas lights, and I think they do bring people in. If you ask why are they on all day, which I get asked several times, the LEDs are very, very, very low pence it costs to run. And I always say, if somebody's downtown shopping at 3 o'clock in December on a horrible dark day, you would like to see some lights. It's no good not having them on, and then them coming on at 6 o'clock at night, and nobody sees them. So you have them on all the day. Because it only costs pence to run, because we do make sure that they are all cheap ones to run. And there are some of the businesses actually that put money into running them, because that's the only way we can do it. But we've got a grip on it now, and I hope that it continues. And I would like to, sort of thank everybody for helping with that, because it has been a marvellous little committee. It has, it's been super. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We'll move on now. Vice Chairman of the Town and Garden Map Committee, Councillor Busman.
Right, the report that our Chairman, Councillor Wilkie, produces on page 18. I'll take any questions if anybody's got any.
Yeah.
Once again, it's a very popular guide, which we are now working on the next edition of, which obviously takes about a year to put together. All the time we've gone round and got enough editorial content, pictorial content, advertisers, what have you, to make it viable to run. Grateful thanks to all our businesses in Parish that do support it by advertising in it. It does go far and wide. It gets picked up quite regularly by all and sundry visiting the town. Same as going with the map, which obviously has the tide times on, which is the most useful thing for encouraging visitors to look at, just to make sure that they stay safe. And once again, advertisers again make that possible to produce. So thank you very much if there's any advertisers here.
Any questions to Councillor Busman? No? Thank you very much. 5B, meeting to receive reports from Parish Town Council working parties. Are there any?
They begin on page 28.
Local organisation.
Oh, well, we haven't got any working parties, have
No
we?
working party, you only
I've got a check in any. I did say
Well, yeah, that was generated before or after
After the report.
the report.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I'm jumping the gun a bit.
Right, we'll move on then. Borough and County Councillors' report. Scarborough Borough Councillors' report. Council to receive reports from the Scarborough Borough Councillors for the Parish Town Council area, knowing that the councillors are currently in Purda. Has anyone any questions for the councillors present?
I just have a question for Councillor Cottrell in reference to the report on Discover Firing. When we know that the trust looks like it's no more, but in this section it states that there would be Section 106 monies to help with the demolition of some site there. Do Scarborough Council or yourself provide up-to-date section 106 monies for private town councils so they can see and monitor what's available and what they can spend it on?
I'm unaware of that. I mean, I have that information because I've asked it myself. But I don't know if the town council has it.
It is available. It's really a point in time when we want it to and from, and it's part of the next Finance and General Purposes meeting that we are scheduled is to have that as an agenda item, and I will be reporting on a regular basis both on what is available and what has been used.
Right.
Or what is available, what's been allocated, and what's been used.
Have you always had that, or is it
No.
a relatively new
No.
thing?
It's available on request.
Yeah, right, okay. So you're monitoring that now,
Yes.
and then hopefully we won't
Yes.
fall into the situation where it has to be paid back to the developer where it's originated.
That is
And we'll
what
shop again.
was proposed by Councillor Shackleton at a couple of meetings ago, which is going ahead.
Okay, that's good.
Through you, Chair, just to also point out it's not only the town council, the borough council that can use that section 106 million. Any community group could apply to use it.
Can you give us an example, Councillor Cockrell, on what?
Well, for instance, the current thing is the Queen Street Garden.
Right.
So an application could be used to use some land.
Right, thank you for that. Councillor Wright.
Right, I don't know whether he's allowed to answer this, Councillor Cockrell, but when we looked at taking on the toilets, we were offered £5,000 per block of toilets and an additional amount of money from Scarborough Council. Would like to know, because this has gone past the date of when we should have taken them on, is this still available, do you know?
On the forward plan of the Cabinet, the Borough Council, there is a report due to go to the Cabinet in June
Yes.
about the second tranche of toilets. And to me, there's nothing to stop the town council saying they wanted to take them on and that money will still be available. Certainly in my discussions with the Director of Finance, Nick Edwards, he has assured me that money is still available.
Thank you for that. Because I don't know how to put this really, that the toilets I would like to see taken on by Friday. They don't need to be like gold taps and porcelain, this, that and the others. They need to be of a nice standard that's clean and tidy. And I don't think some people realise that there is money available to put towards these toilets for repair. Some might need knocking down, and I suggested a pod being put there instead. That's good to park. But, that's all up to the next council. But what I'm saying is, I think we should, as a town, get behind this, because it is, to me, vital to the town to keep toilets. I've never heard of a seaside town or visiting town that doesn't have some toilets. There are options for some of them to be split up, made smaller, but make money on the other parts that's taken on. So I think there's been a lot of money bandied around on how much it's going to cost, but nobody knows exactly, because we've never had an actual costing of a toilet. If you get the firm in that come from Whitby and do Whitby, they are doing it all on, it doesn't cost Whitby anything to do. And that was our favourite way of doing it. And I would like to see this progressed in the future, because I think there is rumours in Parish that Scarborough's closing all our toilets, which is absolutely a load of rubbish. They are not. But there is things that could be done to them to make them nicer, payable. And I still think that you should have to pay to go into a toilet. We used to pay a penny, Yeah, a long time ago, I can remember that, little brass things, you know, with your penny.
Yeah.
And you think in 1930s, 40s, when they paid a penny, how much a penny is worth now? 20 pence, 30 pence, 50 pence. It shouldn't, you know, people might easily, you know, pay £2.50 for a chocolate, hot chocolate or a coffee, and then they have to go to the